So Josh Williams made headlines in Atlanta. Um, Good stuff. But we're going to be joined here momentarily by Colton Gardner, a season 5 Wednesday Night Dash champion. So I'm DJ Flook.
Eric Richardson.
And Colton is actually on the phone with us. Good evening, Colton. Welcome.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's
Yeah, it's our
good.
pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Long past due to finally sit down with you. But as we've done since we've started this, is we sit down with the season champion and kind of talk about. So first off, congratulations. Dominant win at Phoenix last week.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of fun this last season. I wasn't sure how it would go, but it all worked out.
It certainly did. I mean, there were a couple races that you got caught up in some mess like the rest of us did, and no offense to Eric here, but after 2 races, I thought Eric was going to run away with it.
Yeah.
Oh
But
man.
hey, you still walked out of there third, so almost
True.
almost caught second place, but that's respectable. So
Yeah.
I have to ask, what was the turnaround for you? I mean, it just kind of like you were kind of in the middle of the pack, and then all of a sudden something clicked with you, and then it just, you just took off. You had the 2 strong finishes at the end, strong finishes to close the season out. Like what clicked for you that, for that late season charge?
Well, per like the history, I have had quite a bit of bad luck, getting caught up in messes and everything. But I really just tried to keep a steady pace during the races and just not overdrive the car too much and try and stay away from people sometimes
But
because it's a little erratic at times.
I mean, you walked out of the Chicago race. I think, did you finish second at that week, if I remember right? Or am I thinking of
I finished third.
finished third? That's right. I'm trying to memorize the results here on the
Yeah.
fly, and it's not working so well. You walked out, with a pretty solid finish at that track. I mean, what did you think of? I mean, that was, as soon as Eric and I saw that this was becoming a real thing, we just said, okay, this is definitely going on the next schedule. What did you think about running that track? It was unique.
I was kind of worried because for the most part it's a very low speed track, and the next gen car being a needing downforce at high speeds is going to make it really tough to drive at times. Um, so my goal was just to like keep it straight, keep it steady, not hit anything, not like over throttle the car in the corners. But I if I think the result would have been a lot different if Hunter would have been there as well, because I probably would have ended up fourth.
Poor
um,
poor Hunter.
yeah.
Just, you want to talk about bad luck?
Oh
he
yeah.
he For those that don't know, I'm not sure if have we talked about this, Eric. I don't know if we
I don't
have.
think so.
Inside the driver's circle, we knew this, but Hunter, um he works nights, and he decided he was going to take a nap before the race, and he woke up a half hour after the race ended and missed it. And he was so looking forward. He had that circled on his calendar for weeks. He was, from his time trial times, he was right in line with Tyler. It was going to be the two of them fighting it out, and then he slept through the race, which, I mean, you got to feel for him. But
Oh yeah.
but he ended up, he went into the booth with Eli, and he's been trying to work his way in as a color commentator, and I think he did a great job in the couple events that he hopped out of the car and hopped into the booth instead. So um very unique season, that's for sure. We had some weird things happen this season for sure, including one driver just randomly like ghost us for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so you also had that tough finish at Atlanta. Um, that was I was so upset at myself for that, because that's when I had my iRacing lock up on me. I was, a second off the lead with about 10 laps to go, and then just everything locked up. And I was like, no. And then that was our only big one of the year, if I remember right. I mean, can't
We
think of
had
anything else.
the start at Darlington.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the first
Oh.
like ever extra caution we've had to throw.
Oh, that is, well, and the funny thing about that, and I think I've told this story on here, is Tyler Vickery tried to start in first. He spun his wheels, went sideways, and took out 2/3 of the field. I didn't even make it to the start finish line before I had damage. And I actually, right here, I have my stream deck, and I have one of the buttons programmed for a yellow flag, just in case that I've not had I use it to throw the stage caution, but we have not up until that point had to throw an extra caution. And I had my thumb over it, debating if I'm going to push the caution, and my hand slipped. I pushed the button anyway. I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna caution. And then I jumped on the radio and sold it, like, all right, we're starting over. Everybody go get fixed. We're starting over again. and then my iRacing locked up for that was the first of 2 times that season.
Yeah.
So how is it from your perspective? This has been the closest Wednesday night dash in finishers that we've had so far. What was it like just dealing with all 5 drivers fighting for those top 3 spots?
It was like very stressful. Because like everybody has really good pace. Everybody that was up there, and like there's a bunch of us that you never know whenever they're just going to fire off and do really, really well. And like for instance, Michigan, like you saved tires immaculately, and like you had everybody snookered.
I don't know how you did that.
I'll tell you, I learned a lot from the Xfinity cars at Auto Club. That's where I learned it, and I carried it to that track.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, you're absolutely right. Like, this was an incredibly competitive season, and not to interrupt you, but I mean, you look at, Brian McKinney had 3 podiums himself. Eric, you had 3 podiums. Hunter had 1. Justin Neves finished 3rd in the last 3 races: Atlanta, Kansas, Phoenix. Caden, his only 2 podiums of the year were his wins at Atlanta and Kansas, and he was outside the top 3 every other one, and he finished 2nd. So I mean, he must have been 4th or 5th every other race, just about. Scott McCarris, 3 podiums. Tyler, 2 wins and a 3rd. I mean, it just this was probably the most parity we've had in our 5 seasons of doing this now. Which is awesome. That's what we want. We don't want, no offense to Chad Winstead, who came in and kicked everybody's butt and clean sweep the 8 races. Yes. Bow to Chad, bow to Chad. But I mean, this is great. It's just every season, and I think some of that has to do with many of us have been racing together for a year now. I mean, you've joined us at the end of the spring season last year. But I think there's that familiarity with, who you're racing with, what that person's going to do. And I think that's improved the overall quality of the racing.
Yeah, it has. And trying to figure out everybody's mannerisms is really fun. Because you never know what someone's going to do, but you can really pick up a lot on just whether or not each race, if they're going to like continue to attack you and try and pass, or if they're going to let you by and get the position. But it's something being like consistent. There's something about being consistent and easy around people that it can really help your result in the end.
Yes, indeed. So, Eric, any final thoughts on the season before we move on to the week in the very busy week in motorsports?
No, overall it was a fun season. Colton, you're just fantastic driving through, and congrats again on that win.
Congratulations.
We have the GT3s coming up for our season 6. How do you feel about those?
I,
Um, I'm not much on turning right, not that good at it, but I try my best with it. It's going to be a challenge. The only like long race I've done is a 2.4 hour race with the Highline Racing League. They did a special event, and I just kept it clean the whole race. But it, being 45 minutes per race, and I don't believe there's going to be cautions.
there will not be. We're
So
road course rules, so we are caution free.
yeah, it's
Unless somebody wants to take out the field on the green flag, then we might have to rack them up and start over again.
Unless I
yeah.
had, what if I Dukes of Hazard? It's gonna happen at least once.
Oh, man, that
Oh,
was
boy.
yeah. You've had two of our more iconic GT3 crashes between the Mid Ohio.
Yeah,
We're returning to the scene of the crime later this season, and closing
same
it
with
out with
Daytona.
Daytona. So Daytona, which we've kind of quietly announced this, but for Daytona, this was Kendall Kerr gave me this idea. It's such a great idea. So for Daytona, what we're gonna do is we're gonna 8 times the clock there. So we're gonna start racing in the afternoon, and in a period of 45 minutes, you're gonna have afternoon, evening, overnight, and it's going to be kind of into the dawn hours of the next day. So you're gonna have to experience the driving in the late afternoon, driving at night, driving at dawn. Adds a whole new level of challenge to it, and we're going to be closing the season out with that, so we're really excited to be experimenting this may be a total disaster, but
We do have 5 drivers with experience driving it at night and all hours from the Daytona 24.
yes indeed. So it's yeah, I'm going to be sitting in the back waiting for the season to end. So
I might be there with you.
Yeah, it sounded fun, and when we came up with the idea, and I'm, but some of these tracks, like Watkins Glen, yeah, okay, I know that one. Lime Rock Park, to get out of rookies, you spend a lot of time at Lime Rock Park. There's only maybe 2 tracks on there that I need to go in and truly learn that I do not know today. But it's a challenge. It's different. It may not work, but that's why we experiment. If it doesn't work, then we'll scrap it next year and do something else or go back to trucks.
I like the trucks. I had a lot of fun in that season.
We debated, and actually, we also quietly announced is we're going to be shifting because of how the timing and everything works out. We're going to actually we're going to do, this is the last time we do an 8 race season, but we're going to actually finish out the year with a 10 race season and do 3 10s moving forward, to finish out the years, or to do the year out. And it was going to be ARCA, but there might be some Gen 4 requests in there. I'm not sure what we're going to do there yet or not, if it's going to be back in the ARCA, which we had some fantastic racing last fall in the ARCA cars.
Yeah, and they changed the build of that car before the season started, and it's tough to learn that thing through the first half of the season. But yeah,
we had so many close finishes. I think we had 3 or 4 finishes last fall of under a second between first and second, including Eric's
It's still
infamous
been our closest
Talladega.
finish.
Yeah, your was it 9,000ths of a second or something like that?
It was close. It wasn't even a tenth.
And then I finished third, 5,600ths of a second or something like that in third place. It's just it was so wild. It produced such great racing, and it's just like, do we go Gen 4 or do we go back to something we know works? But yeah, anyway, the world
there'd be a lot of tire management with the Gen 4 car. So
those things are, oh man, I took one out on Auto Club. That thing was so squirrely. It made me so nervous driving that thing around there. I'm like, maybe we just go back to ARCA. maybe we'll do a fun race at the end of the year in the Gen 4, but
you get that learning curve on that one still.
Oh yeah, that would be something. So In the weekend of Formula One and NASCAR, we had some drama. And it was still a fairly boring race in Jeddah. Josh Williams decided to make the Xfinity race front page news. And
Great for sponsors, got their
yeah.
word out.
And well, I mean, I heard his name before, but I didn't really know much about him until this weekend. So I know who Josh Williams is now, and a lot of people do. And Joey Logano has his big finish in the Cup Series. Brad, so close to breaking, snapping that winless streak.
I feel like Joey Logano needs to buy Chris Bell dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That shove he gave.
Oh man, that
was massive.
Yeah, and Brad, he did such a good job defending both lanes just to end up losing it. Like I was pulling for Brad really hard. I wanted to see that 6 car in victory lane.
He's it's good. Like, he was totally relevant last year. And just to see him back up and competing, he's the only driver to lead in every race so far this year, which is good. It's great that things are turning around for him. But my favorite Brad moment from the weekend actually happened, I think it was after the race. And I don't know why the camera was focused on this, but there was a camera focused on the porta-johns, and Brad had to go use the bathroom. He goes in there. He does not lock the porta-john for some unknown reason, and here comes Denny Hamlin, opens the door to see Brad just sitting in there.
Oh man.
And he closes the door and steps away. And Denny's tweet later was, I opened the door and it smelled like Hawaiian rolls in there. Which
great moment.
Shout out to Brad, sponsor of King's Hawaiian, but that was hilarious. But I want to know, why did Fox have a camera focusing on the porta-johns after the race? Why? Why, Fox? Why?
Could go with some other questionable decisions they've had, but either way, made it for a hilarious moment.
So good. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I texted Eric in the last 2 laps of the race, and I said, "Oh, we're gonna have a big one here. This is gonna be a huge mess," and it wasn't.
I was fully expecting a caution there at the very end, just to mess with the field like we've had every other race so far this year.
Is that the first race to not have a green-white checker?
Yes. First one.
That's crazy. And then, that's of all tracks for that not to happen, Atlanta. Yeah, and just there was a lot of, I mean, you could see there was a lot of respect out there on the track, and Kyle Busch made that comment earlier in the weekend about there's no respect among the drivers anymore. I'm like, there was a lot of respect on that last couple of laps after the restart. I was totally expecting a huge crash there, but hey, you know what? Good for them. Good finish. Joey Logano, who did I hear right on the broadcast that he had a condo that looked out to Atlanta, or he lived
on turn 4.
Yeah, and this is kind of a moment he's been waiting for a long time. So good for him.
Minus a couple of cautions in stage 3 and the green white checkers, I feel like the races have been actually kind of bland the last 3. Hasn't been a lot of cautions. They just kind of run.
And you got through Daytona. The first stage this year was just kind of follow the leader, and nobody tried anything too ridiculous, and they got through stage 1 pretty clean. It's been
I'd like to see a little more racing, or at least a little more action passing for leads, but it seems like that lead car just jumps out, and that's about it.
Yeah, Coda this weekend. Love that track. I want to go there someday. I have not. That's on my list of places I'd love to go. I don't know if it would be for a NASCAR or for a Formula One event, but that just seems like the way that is set up and how everything is set up around the track. That just would be a fun weekend to head to Austin and overpay for your airfare and your food and your hotel and everything else with going to
Yeah.
Austin, Texas. But
So how about
totally worth
two
it.
drivers that are going to be in that race?
And that is Kimi in this one?
Jensen Button and Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah, Kimi Räikkönen. Turn that over.
Yeah.
Get the Kimi poster right back there. That'll be fun. Kimi had a pretty good run at it was Watkins Glen last year until he got wrecked, and I don't think it was his fault. I mean, he was not like competing for the lead, but I mean, he was holding his own out there. I mean, it's not easy to just, you've made a career out of Formula One and a few other random series in between, and then go and jump into a brand new design stock car and go out to Watkins Glen, and he's doing pretty well. I think he'll do pretty well this weekend too.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
He adapted that car really, really quick over that weekend.
Well, I mean, I think with Jensen Button, I feel like he retired before COTA opened. Maybe. I don't know that for a fact. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but he's part of the Garage 56 team. And I think this is as much getting him practice around other similar types of vehicles before he gets into the Garage 56 car at Le Mans. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. Good driver. Really good driver. Also have to shout out to, I can't see it on here, but Brad Perez will be attempting to qualify for the Xfinity Series this weekend. So again, great social media follow. I've got his truck from his COTA race last year signed in my display case here. So good luck to him. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I as a kid, I don't know about you, Eric, but as a kid, whenever they'd come up on Watkins Glen or, Sears Point back in the day, Sonoma now, I just like, no, I don't want to watch this. And now it's very compelling. You get all the craziness at the Roval, and Watkins Glen is a lot of fun. You've got COTA mixed in there. Indianapolis had some pretty good racing, and who was that last year who overran? Was that
Kyle
Chastain?
Larson overran it.
But was he the one who went off the access road and then came back in and finished second and then lost? I thought Chastain did that.
Yeah, it was Ross.
Yeah, right. The final restart, when they get to turn one on the front stretch, Chastain just blew right past the turn.
He wasn't stopping either.
No, I feel like that was intentional, and he finished his second. When he dropped to like 26th place or something, he got a huge penalty for that.
Well, it was either that or just drive into the log jam that everybody else was in. So he took his best chance, at least. It just didn't work out.
I mean, he still got to the to championship weekend in the four. So the championship four. So it's, it didn't really hurt him in the end, but and it led to if he wouldn't have done that and he would have finished 15th or something like that, we probably would not have seen his Martinsville wall ride, because he probably wouldn't have needed to make the Martinsville wall ride out of it. So
that's still just epic.
This is like butterfly effect stuff right here, that Ross Chastain decides not to overrun turn one into the service road at Indianapolis. Doesn't need to make the run at Martinsville. Maybe makes championship four. Maybe he's out of it. I don't know. But it's crazy how just all that worked out, and how we have that to look back on.
Well, we get kind of a quiet weekend with just NASCAR. Indy still has another week, and Formula One has a week off.
Yeah, I have to ask you. I asked you via text the other day. Australia is next for Formula One. It's April, depending on what time zone you're in. It's either April 1st or April 2nd. lights out and away we go at about 1:05 a.m. Eastern time. Will you be watching that event?
If I am home, I will probably be up and watching, because I will be on my way back from Alabama at that point.
At that point, you're gonna have all the adrenaline from the. Are you driving?
Yes.
It's a bit of a
I will
drive.
try not to drive it like I do in Wednesday Night Dash and Dukes of Hazzard anybody. Because it is on a road.
That's right, and you've got a young child in the vehicle with you. Remember that.
Good point.
It's amazing how it's amazing how your driving habits change when it's you alone versus you with young children in the car. I shouldn't be admitting that out loud, but
yeah, I got to teach them how to race early, right?
not what I was going for, but okay.
I do not condone driving like that when you have young children in the car. Follow the rules of the road. There's our disclaimer.
Now let me teach you how to use the e-brake.
Now, when he can reach the pedals, yes, he will absolutely learn how to drive on iRacing.
Actually, tonight when I was getting the kids ready for bed, and we go pick out a book, we'll read our book before bed, and they went and picked out Andy Amendola's book on the about race cars.
Yeah, he's been guest on the show too.
He has, yes, indeed. So if you're gonna be up for 1 a.m., I mean it's 10 p.m. out here when that will start. And I will throw out an invitation and say, Andy, are you going to be up at 1 a.m. Eastern time? Come join us. Get some Rogue Energy, down that caffeine, make it to 3 a.m. There you go. All right. So real quick.
Is it a good thing that we have a week off for Checo and Max?
I just feel like that's about to boil over. I think part of the problem is I think Checo is too nice. I think a lot of people have made that same comment. And you have the cool down room. Max goes and sits in the winner's chair, probably out of habit, but sits in the winner's chair, puts his helmet in his chair, or actually, no, that was Alonso's chair. Yeah, it's like making himself at home. And then they find out, Checo finds out that Max pushed and got the fastest lap, like right at the very end. And there's some tension between the two of them. I mean, that's Interlagos. I think it was Interlagos last year when they asked Max to slow down and let Checo pass him to, Max had locked it up. They wanted to get Checo up to second and get those extra couple of points, and Max wouldn't let him by, and and Checo was pretty upset. And then it's like, okay, season's over, make it a race in now, race 2, and there's some beef.
And then you hear on the radio they're telling Max on the fastest lap not to worry about it, and goes, I care.
Oh man, I feel like the car is not going to be Red Bull's demise this year if it happens. Probably won't, but if Red Bull fails this year, and that's very wide definition of what failure could be there. It's going to be,
if they fail, it might bring him back equal to the field.
I know, it's just feuding teammates. I mean, it happens all the time, no matter what. What motorsports you're in. You had last year Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson had that race where I think Chase was pretty upset at Kyle over a movie pulled. I mean, it happens. They talk it out, they move on. But I mean, this feels different. This feels like this is just kind of boiling.
It all started at Monaco last year. When
and Checo.
He may have intentionally spun or whatever to draw the red flag out, and
I completely forgot about that until you just mentioned it. The only thing I remember from Monaco last year, the two things I remember are the heavy rain that delayed the start, and then Charles Leclerc's pit stop where he lost his mind over the radio. cursing out box, don't stay out. But he's already there. Ferrari. Don't be Ferrari strategy. Got him again. The Ferrari strategist got him again this weekend. Oh.
I don't get it.
How does that happen? Every week, almost every week. I tell you what, though, seeing McLaren struggle at the very back of the field, I just, after what they did to Daniel Ricciardo, it's just, I don't have a problem with Lando Norris, and I don't really know much of anything about, Piastri, and he's a rookie, but let him struggle. It's just when they showed Zach Brown sitting at the he's sitting at the desk and showing his two drivers fighting for what was it, like 18th place, 17th place, whatever.
It was pretty low.
He just did not look thrilled, and I smiled at that. I'm just like, the curse of Ricardo right there. Speaking of Ricardo, did you know he owns his own vineyard?
I'm not surprised.
He is so milking all his popularity from drivers, drive to survive. He's doing all these TV appearances. He was pushing his wines that he the Ricardo wine, I forget what it's called, but he was posting about that the other day. Good for him. You're not going to drive, you might as well cash in on the image why people still care.
For sure.
I don't blame him. On that note, I think it's about time to wrap. Erik and I, for those who noticed, yes, Erik and I are wearing the same shirt. It was not planned. We didn't call each other before the show to see if we were wearing the shirt. No, we didn't do that.
Nope.
It was just pure coincidence. Actually, I just bought this shirt, and I bought the Garage Talk shirt, and I was like, which one do I want to grab for this one? I grabbed that one. And we match. We're in uniform today. So there you go. You can get this.
Check it out. Available on our shop.
That's right. It's available in the FR Racing store. FRRacingOnline.com. Add FR Racing Online for social media and streaming. And Colton, again, congratulations on your big season 5 win. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank y'all. I appreciate everything y'all do, holding on the league and putting it up every Wednesday. I hope I can get into the latter part of the IndyCar season later on, but I really appreciate everything y'all do, and thank you again.
We didn't even talk about that, Erik. We'll have to save that for next week.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we ran your recruiting race tonight, so it looks like you had a pretty good turnout. We got to get some people in, and I'll be running a part-time schedule there.
Yeah, it may actually be part-time as well a little bit, just see how schedule goes.
It's just I'm going to do Indianapolis for sure. I have to make that a priority to be there. I'll come walk in and be like, who's this? Hello, everyone. I'm the guy who qualified on pole the last time we were here and wrecked the field turn 1 lap 1.
Oh man.
I still can't believe I did it.
Every
At least
time
we'll
I
have
see the
automatic
picture-
caution this time.
Yeah. Every time I see the picture of us like going into that turn, I just think like this is seconds before a disaster.
It's just there was just so much adrenaline on my part where it's just like I was stunned that I walked away with a pole there. I'd been working so hard on my hot lapping at that track, and it finally paid dividends. I walk away with a pole with a group of drivers. I'm starting pole at Indianapolis, my home track, so to speak. Looking forward to this thing for weeks. I come out there and blow the whole thing up turn 1 lap. And it's just laughter ensues on the radio.
Oh man, hopefully no moments like that in our Indy series, but we'll touch on that next week. We're a couple weeks out from the start of it.
Oh man. Again, Colton, thanks for stopping by, and good luck to you. We'll be probably hanging out in the back together a lot this season.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm try my best not to wreck it pretty much. I'm just gonna try and keep it on the blacktop.
and it's just, yes, my motto is I'm not ruining it for anyone else. I'll ruin it for myself, but I'm not ruining it for anyone else.
That's pretty much my goal as well.
we'll we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.